How's it going, YouTube? Cody Bernardi here with another YouTube video, and in today's video we are going to be talking about something that I will own up to. So I made a few statements years ago about ADSB Exchange selling out, all of that. Well, I'll be the first one to admit I think I was jumping the gun when I said those statements, and I said they sold out on the backs of open source individuals and such like that. So I took those videos down, and months later, I think it aged like milk, and ADSB Exchange is still kicking to this date. I don't know if any sort of sales are doing on the back end or anything like that. So I will admit I was wrong. So with that, I want to make a new video about ADSB Exchange because I think it is important for OSINT investigators to know how to use this tool in an effective manner. So for those of you that do not know what ADSB Exchange is, it is a open source platform that shows aircraft in the world. Now, you might be kind of familiar with it if you were following like Elon Jet and such like that with Jack Sweeney and all that. It was a huge deal. So I'll talk about everything you need to know to get up to speed. Shout out to Donut Media. About ADSB Exchange. There is an equivalent service out there called ADSB.fi. I'm not really too in tune with like the beef between the two, if there really is any, but to this day, it appears that ADSB Exchange has a little bit more of a feeding network out there. So again, the commands I'm doing on ADSB Exchange will one-to-one translate over to ADSB.fi. I'm just going to be doing ADSB Exchange today because it has a more robust network as far as feeders go. So I'll talk through about how this all works and how you can contribute to the open source community. So this map right here is all of the aircraft in the sky, for the most part, that are broadcasting what is called ADSB. It is a requirement in the United States that like commercial airliners and private jets to be broadcasting out a message containing things like their altitude, their tail number, such like that. It is broadcasted from the jets and to the ground. The purpose of this is for like air traffic controllers to correlate a radar detection to an actual aircraft itself, because when control tower, they could scan via radar, but it doesn't give them any other information other than the fact that there is an object in the sky. ADSB will provide more detailed information as far as like the location of the aircraft, the altitude, the tail number, and such like that. And the air traffic controllers can decipher, oh, this is November 17 whatever. They can get that sort of information and track the aircraft at a more granular level. So there's that. There's ADSB, there's ADSC, TISB, MODES, MLAT, ADSR, and such like that. But for the most part, we're going to kind of group everything in together as ADSB. The technicalities between these different protocols, they're different, but I'm not going to get into it in this video. But for the most part, it's broadcasting a message from the aircraft to the ground, and pretty much anyone with the right receiver can decipher that information. So everything you see right here, this is all of the aircraft in the US airspace that is using one of these different sources. So pretty much everything in the air, other than things like drones and some military aircraft, do not broadcast things like ADSB. Drones receive ADSB. Some drones do, but they don't broadcast out. That's actually illegal for a drone to broadcast ADSB. So with that, all of this, like I said, is fed through people like myself, where I have a little receiver like this. This is it's called an RTL282U for 278 megahertz. And basically I plug this into my Raspberry Pi and it feeds to either ADSB Exchange or ADSB.fi. So with that, there's a lot of information in here that you can get that you wouldn't normally get on something like flight radar. Now, the difference between this and something like flight radar, and I've talked about in previous videos that I have since unlisted, but I think I could make a better video now, is that there is this thing called a Swim database with the FAA, and it is a system-wide information management system. And what this does is it feeds to system or services like Flight Aware or Flight Radar 24, and basically what this would do is like this system right here pulls in information from the FAA directly, and it says, hey, this is the position of, United Airlines 326. But it's not actually receiving information from people on the ground. I believe Flight Radar and Flight Aware do take in that sort of information from the public, but they will filter things out, which we'll talk about. They will filter out aircraft because they subscribe to one of two programs that the FAA provides as a privacy filter. And this is where we get into the whole thing with Elon Jet. So Flight Radar 24, Flight Aware, they subscribe to the FAA Swim catalog. And you can read all about the FAA Swim here. But basically, if you subscribe a service to the FAA Swim catalog, you cannot display things like LADD, limited, I think this is a limited aircraft data, stands for like limited aircraft data displayed. And then the PIA, which is the private ICAO address. I think that's what it stands for. So it won't display that information. So what that means is all of this aircraft in the sky, they're just broadcasting out, their ICAO hex code, and it is one-to-one tied back to that aircraft. When an aircraft subscribes to the LEDD, which is the limited aircraft data display, that means that subscribers to the FAA Swim catalog will not display that information. So if we toggle LEDD right here, we can see, drum roll please, there's no aircraft in the sky right now, at least according to ADSB.FI. Let's try this. Okay, like I said, you could see right here, one-to-one, ADSB-FI does not have anything in the US. ADSB Exchange has all of these different aircraft in the sky right now. They're still broadcasting ADSB, but if a system was to subscribe to the FAA Swim catalog or database, it will not display that. So we'll take a look at November 856 Lima Foxtrot. So if we were to go to something like Flight Radar 24, we won't see that aircraft here. So this aircraft is, just east of the Yakima Training Center. Okay, so we'll zoom back out. There is no aircraft displayed here east of the Yakima Training Center. We'll pick another aircraft that's subscribed to LEDD. We have this helicopter north of Vashon Island right here. We'll go here and take a look. Vashon Island. Oh, we have this one. We have that one, but there's no information associated with it. So I think that might be a bad example. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's find another aircraft. We'll find this one next to the this wilderness right here. This is what a Beach 90 King Air. I'm doubtful we can find that on Flight Radar. Let's take a look. We'll go all the way down. And there's Eugene. Oh, there it is. Okay, I stand corrected. So it looks like Flight Radar actually shows this information, but it doesn't show the IDS or the ICAO address. So it shows that there is an aircraft, but it doesn't show the details of it. So if you go to ADSB Exchange, you could see like it's November 617 Mike, and it's a Beach 90 King Air, and it's owned by Cal or Life Flight. So it's a Life Flight aircraft. We're going to click out of ADSB-FI because the obvious amount of data is not even compared to ADSB Exchange. We'll go down here to just north of Hollister. We have just a flight operations aircraft. It's a Cessna 172. Let's see. think this is Hamilton City, so we have to go a little bit more south. Right here. Again, same thing. It's like not available. So I guess it does show that. I stand corrected. It does show information. It does show that there is an aircraft there, but it doesn't show like details about it. It shows like, okay, it's a Cessna 172, but it doesn't show the ICAO address. So I guess that's what the purpose of LEDD is. It doesn't actually show more information than that. So PIA is another program offered by the FAA, and this is flying PIA. Interesting. So PIA, what it will do is it will assign a randomized ICAO address. So in this case, this Cessna, looks like a Cessna at least, took out of Yakima, and it's, again, just east of the Yakima Training Center. So if we were to go up here, it might show it. I don't know. So Yakima Training Center, let's see where this took off. That's not it, because that took out of Seattle. So yeah, this one's not even displaying it to begin with. Versus here, it shows this flight. So that's the difference. So I guess it's just the amount of information that is available on flight radar and ADSB. So I will take back what I said. It will show aircraft that are flying LEDD. It just won't show a ton of information. Okay, so we got that. Those are basic filters. You can filter, by if it's a military aircraft, which there isn't many right now because it is, Christmas Eve. There is like a few in the sky right now. I think like literally this and this. There's like a couple in the sky right now, but for the most part, there isn't really many. So you can filter by that, and that's universal across the world. So you can see all the other aircraft and such like that are associated with the military. Now keep in mind the LEDD and PIA are specific to the United States. So if you were to filter by PIA or LEDD, you're not going to really get any results outside of like the US and maybe Canada and Mexico. You shouldn't see anything out there because those are FAA programs. Okay, great. So that is like a very basic introduction to ADSB Exchange. Let's talk about all these other filters right there. Now, we can filter by altitude, minimum and maximum altitude, call sign, squawk code, type description, and ICAO hex ID. So we'll focus on this one area right here. So if we want to, find all the planes flying above 40,000 feet in the sky, we put that on the minimum, hit filter, and we could see, like I said, all the planes flying super high in the sky right now. So in this case, we look over here, we can see the barometric altitude of this jet is 47,000 feet. So that thing's up there. So we can even filter even more. We could do 47,000 feet, hit filter, and see what we get. Just that one plane. So this plane right here, 9 Hotel Victor Indigo Juliet is the highest plane in the sky right now, broadcasting out, ADSB or whatever. So you can do that. So by altitude right there, by call sign is a little bit different than the actual tail number. You'll notice like military aircraft, they have their own call sign. So right here, it's Parma 48, and it is a Boeing E6 Mercury. So if you filter by call sign, well, you'll get the call sign. But for the most part, civilian aircraft, their call sign is going to be just the tail number. I don't know the nitty gritties on how you could get your own call sign. I'm not sure, but for the most part, it's just going to be the tail number. Squawk code. So that is a number that you put into the transponder itself to identify your aircraft. So it's going to be a unique code. For the most part, it's going to be a unique code. I'm sure there's going to be some overlap, especially if you're looking on a global scale. But it's just like a code like 7,500. Let's see if anyone's squawking any sort of emergency codes right now. So 7,600. See if that exists anywhere. 7,700. See if anyone is squawking any emergency codes. Okay, no. Okay. So again, a squawk code is something you would put into your transponder to identify or ident an aircraft. So in this case, we could take a look right here and see what the squawk code of, this Alaska flight is. So the squawk code is 3322. So we'll put that into the squawk filter. And for the most part, this is the only aircraft within this region that's squawking 3322. Obviously, there's this aircraft over here squawking it and this aircraft over here squawking it. But, it's like ADSB. So it's transponding to the ground. So this aircraft, flying, let's say 40,000 feet, it's not going to get anywhere near the United States as far as that code. It's only a problem when you're squawking the same code as an aircraft and you're like pretty much within line of sight of each other. So that's up to air traffic control to really issue out those squawk codes. Now we get into things like type code. Type code is a really useful OSINT tool because this is how you can filter out things like twin engine jets, helicopters, single propeller planes, such like that. There's a whole list of things out there. So type description, type code is the actual kind of plane itself. So like if we want to see all of the Boeing 737s out there, we can do that. So we'll do B378. So all of the Boeing 737-800s out there. So the ICAO type code for that is B738. We could do 737, maybe get some 739, get some of those out there. So it just filters by that aircraft. I'll put a list of all the different kinds of type codes you can have out there. So if you want to focus on Lear jets or Challenger aircraft, you could certainly do that. So let's just go in here and find like a private jet. The other thing to keep in mind is the shapes of the aircraft actually are going to be very similar to what the actual aircraft is going to be. So if we were to find like a single propeller plane like this, like a Cessna 208 Caravan, like that's the shape of that aircraft. And you can see the type is C208. So we could do type code C208 and see all the Cessna Caravans out there. There you go. Pretty cool stuff. So we'll hit reset to that. Then type description. This one is how you filter out the kind of aircraft it is. So you have propeller planes, you have jet planes, you have helicopters, you have jet planes with 4 engines, jet planes with 2 engines, jet planes with 3 engines. This is how you do that. So it's going to be, and let's just look up ICAO type codes because it breaks it down on what it means. So we'll take a look at aircraft type designation. We'll just do, let's take a look. So description, amphibian, and then it's the engine type. So it'd be P for piston and then engine count. So a A41 VNS 41, it would be an A2P, amphibian 2-engine piston type engine. So if I was to look that up on ADSB Exchange, I might get something. So if we were to go to A2P, we might get something, but I highly doubt it, given the time of day and all that. So A2P, nothing. A1P, maybe. I feel like that's a rare kind of plane to just be up in the sky, especially with ADSB enabled. But keep that in mind. There's like A for amphibian, L for land, and I think there might be something else, H for helicopter. So we'll just do that. So we'll look up land, like L. So we'll do L2J. L2J. And that will be a land plane with 2 engines that are jet powered. So pretty much everything in here is going to be like a regional jet. So 2 engines that are jet powered, and it's a land plane. It won't land in, it can land in water. Like ask Sully. It can land in water, but that's not its intended purpose. So we'll do H1T. We'll see if we get anything there. So it's going to be a helicopter with 1 turbojet engine. So that's practically going to be every helicopter out there. Something like a shit hook will be an H2T. Doubtful that there's really anything out there. Oh, no, there's a few. Now, I'm curious why it's labeled like this, because I'm guessing that's counting the rear rotor of the I think it's called a stabilizer rotor in the back. It might be counting that. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it has two separate engines. I'm sure someone out there that's like more well versed in helicopters than me, you could probably explain why the Airbus EC-135 is showing up as a two turbo engine helicopter. We could do, yeah, I think I did H3T. That seems like super foreign to me. I don't think that exists out there. It might. There we go. We have a EH-101 Merlin. So 3 rotors or 3 turbo somethings. We have H-1Js. I think those are going to be like Dolphin helicopters. H-2Js. Okay, I stand corrected. I thought like the Dolphin helicopters that the Coast Guard uses would be that. We'll keep going. We'll do L1T. L1T. Going to be a bunch of Cessnas. So turboprop, single engine planes. We'll do H1P or L1P. So piston engined. So like Cirrus SR-22s. So there's that. And then you have the ICAO hex ID. And this is just an ID that is unique to that aircraft, seen by the ICAO, which is important for you to know. That is the International Civil Aviation Organization. And that is just a hex code right here that is unique to that aircraft. And you could translate that hex code to an N number or whatever the registration number is in your country. So in the United States, all modern aircraft start with November that are civil. Military aircraft are an exemption for that. So like if we were to filter by military, the registration number is just like a bunch of numbers. But if we were to remove military, they all start with November. Canada pretty much starts with all C. So this one is this one's a Japanese aircraft, I believe. So JA C C. So that's what that means. Well, actually, this one's G. It's registered in the UK. This one's registered in Canada. Starts with C. There you go. Okay. So that's ICAO hex. You can filter by registration, registration by country. But the way you do that, if you're curious how you like type this in, is like filter by country of origin. Like in this case, it'd be Canada. So we just type in Canada right there. Those are all the planes registered in Canada. And you hit reset. If we want to see all the ones registered in the United States, Control C, Control V, filter. And these are all the planes that are from the United States that are around the world. There you go. Cool stuff. Now, there's one other thing I want to talk about, and that is the replay function. I think this is really important for OSINT individuals. So not only can you do this, you could do a few other things. So if you want to track like multiple aircraft, what you could do is let's track Jeff Bezos. Okay, let's do Jeff Bezos. So Jeff Bezos jet tail numbers. Look that up real quick. He has 2 of them, I believe. We have 2 G650s. We have N271DV and N78 Papa Bravo. So we'll take that and we'll take that. All right. And then we will do ICAO calculator. And what we are going to do is we are going to translate November 271 Delta Victor. We're going to translate that to ICAO. So we're hit calculate and we have the hex right there. We'll go back to ADSB Exchange and we'll do a / ICAO equals that. And then we'll do a comma because we could do comma delimited, because we could search multiple aircraft in one search. So we will go back here, look up Papa Bravo right there, copy that, and comma delimit, hit enter, and we could see both aircraft at where they're at. So it looks like that November 758 Papa Bravo. That's a really good photo of that jet. That's like on the tarmac. That's really good. Flew today. So this one again, like I said, belongs to Jeff Bezos. Flew out of Miami. I don't even know what airport that is. Is that Miami International? I don't know. Opa-locka, Florida, and flew to Seattle all today. And you can see more information. Or no, this is a 271 Delta Victor. So we could do things like look at the flight history of this particular aircraft. So we'll go back in time. So 24th, 23rd, and it's still tracking, as you can see, both aircraft. So this is really nice because you could see in one day, Jeff Bezos had two of his jets flying at the same time. And keep in mind, the day is in UTC, so you have to translate all of this into UTC. So he has a jet that's in, it took a stop in, this country, St. Kitts and Nevis, and then it ended up going to whatever this country is, Charlotte Amalie. So he's probably there right now. So we can track like over the days, where he's gone. So this one is Delta Victor. This one again, dropping people off at St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm sure if we look up his private, his yacht, it's probably there right now. Got a fuel stop in Miami, continued on, and kept just bringing people to St. Kitts. Seattle, LA, St. Kitts. The whole family's there right now. Los Angeles to Seattle. Seattle, Los Angeles. And then you can click on legs. So the first leg of the day was from this one right here. They're just hauling people there. It's fucking crazy. They're just hauling people there. Now keep in mind, the reason why that's like kind of like broken like this is because, again, it's on UTC time. So if I was to go back a day, you could see that flight path. So they went from Miami to LA, and then they also took off from Miami to I'm guessing St. Kitts or some island. So there's just a whole thing going on. They keep shuffling people there. I don't know what's going on. And then they don't fly for any sort of... They don't fly a lot. Or no, it's still loading. We'll let it load a little bit. Now I'm on one right now, ladies and gentlemen. This has gotten my attention. Why is Jeff Bezos flying so much to St. Kitts? Don't know. Couldn't tell you. So we got that. Now I'm on a tangent. Like, I'm so curious. We'll go on marine traffic. So that is how we're going to track like that yacht. So marine traffic, and we are going to look up, I think his yacht's named Flying Fox. It lives in my head rent free, unfortunately, because I've made a few videos about this. Flying Fox. I guarantee you it is where I think it's at right now. Stand corrected. Though I will say the last position received is, December 18th, 2023. Okay. Last position was all the way out there. I stand corrected. So he must have another yacht out there somewhere. He is. He's in Turkey. Supposedly that's where that jet's at, or that yacht's at. So there's something going on down here, ladies and gentlemen. I can't tell you what it is. I know how I can find more information, but I'm not going to divulge that in this video. But I just wanted to show you, like, you could track multiple planes in the same view. You can look at different legs. So like a jet can fly multiple times a day. So one leg is takeoff to touchdown. That's one leg. And then takeoff to touchdown again in the same day as another leg. So anyways, I wanted to make that video. Again, like I said, I was wrong for the most part, I think, initially when I talked about ADSB selling out and all that. I took those videos down. So if you were to call me hypocrite, you could call me that, but I will admit I was wrong. So I feel like this is still useful information for those out there. So anyways, that is it for this video. If y'all enjoy content like this, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button with the bell notification enabled so you get notified anytime I post a new video. I have a video already edited. I will be posting it sometime soon. It's just a matter of spacing this video out with that video where I fly my drone above an abandoned hotel that was burnt down. And I show you a step-by-step how to launch a drone up and take an ortho mosaic and make your own images and then processing that at home using the software called Web ODM, Web Open Drone Map. And I still have yet to find out how you can actually make that open source for other people to consume, but I'm stoked about that. I've been doing a lot of videos, or not videos, but a lot of work with my drone, and I have a couple of them. The only one I've shown y'all so far is my Mini 2. I have a Matrix 210 RTK with a Zenmuse XT2 thermal camera and a Zenmuse Z30 optical camera on it. So if those pop off, I might have to end up getting myself something else, maybe like an L1 or something like that. So anyways, that is it for this video. Y'all take care. Goodbye.